Hello everyone and welcome, I'm Bro Goodman, and today I'm going to be telling you guys how to play the Fat Bastard, or as it's commonly known as, the Clown, in Dead by Daylight. Now, my personal preference with this guy, I absolutely love him. He is a solid killer, and he's something that we needed in Dead by Daylight for a while now, and I'm going to tell you why. So what is he? Well, he's basically a drunk clown throwing bottles at people. That's pretty fun, right? So what do these bottles do? Well, these bottles are meant to slow down the survivors so that you can catch up to them and encourage them not to go in a certain radius of that bottle. And it also impairs vision, so the survivors may not know exactly where you are when you throw it at them, which can be very useful. You can use the bottles as well to counter window loops if you don't want them to go to a certain window, say in the cold wind farm in the barn. That's a really annoying window to have to deal with. But you could just close off that section and they'll probably not go to it. Even then, there's perks to help with that. Now let's say you're chasing a survivor to a pallet and the survivor is about to get to a pallet, but you need to stop them from getting to that pallet before they're going to start looping you around it forever and ever. Well, you can just use a bottle to cut off the way to that pallet, and then they won't go to that pallet, and they'll have a choice to either run into the cloud or go in your direction. Neither of those is optimal, they're going to get hit anyway. So that's pretty nice, and I like that guy for that reason. Let's say you're in a pallet loop with a survivor, and the survivor has been looping you around for a while. You can use the bottles to block off a way to the pallet so that the survivor will have to go into the cloud, slow down, causing you to hit them instead of actually getting to the pallet. Now there's also a scenario where the survivors are just pallet camping, waiting for you to get to the pallet, and they have to drop it eventually when you get to it. Well, this could be simply countered just by throwing a bottle at them and going one direction or the other. Because of the impaired vision, they won't know exactly what direction you're coming from and at what time, just enough so that you'll be able to hit them. And also because of the vacuum fix, you are more likely to counter the pallet camp. You can also get the jump on survivors that are simply working on a generator. Just by throwing a bottle at them, they'll be instantly slowed and you're more likely to get a hit on them before they're able to get to a window or a pallet, which is very nice. You can also cover a larger area with the clown simply by throwing a bottle higher up, like on a building or a tree or something, and it'll cover more of an area, so that's another way to use the clown. Now what about the add-on? What's so special about these add-ons that the clown has? Well, the normal ones, they're just pretty simple ones, just increasing the cooldown, the throws, and all that kind of stuff. The uncommon add-ons, though, are a little bit different than the common add-ons, being that you can moderately decrease reload time, increase the amount of battles that you can have, and cause exhaustion to the survivors, as well as even more increasing your stats, like the common ones did as well. And the rare ones further increases this, so that you're going to have a greater chance at actually killing the survivors, which is very nice. The very rare add-ons don't do a whole lot different, but it is still very cool how you can use them to your advantage. But then you get to the ultra rare add-ons. Now, the first one, Tattoo's Middle Finger, it isn't that great, as it only reveals the survivors for 6 seconds for you, which I haven't found very useful and not completely working as I wanted it to. But the other one, which is Redhead's Pinky Finger, is very good. A lot of people will be using this. But what it is, you have to hit a survivor directly, and that will cause you to insta-down them if you're able to hit them fast enough. This is the overpowered add-on that everybody likes, and definitely will be fun to use in-game, and cause some very fun builds to use as the clown. Although over the time I was using this add-on, I had to hit some pretty hard shots in order to actually hit the survivors. I would recommend using the cheap gin bottle for this because you have more bottles, so you can kind of trick the survivors into thinking you wasted all your bottles already, but then you have 2 more in your inventory. And also, you're more likely to hit them with the effect of the bottle, and that will cause them to slow down, making them easier to hit. So overall, I think the clown's a pretty good killer. It's not anything too extreme, but I will definitely be playing him more in the future. He's kind of the killer that we needed in to have in Dead by Daylight because we've been lacking that kind of chase killer countering the pallets and the current problems with Dead by Daylight. So I'm very happy they added the clown. And if I were to rate him, I'd probably give him an 8 out of 10. He's not crazy good, but still, he can be pretty good. Now, the perks that the clown comes with is Bamboozle, Coulrophobia, and Pop Goes the Weasel. First, let's go over Bamboozle. Now, personally, I really like this perk. This perk has helped me in situations that have been so annoying in the past. For example, the window loops in the Macmillan Estate maps, which basically you can chase a survivor through a window and that will close off that window and you'll go through that window faster so you can catch up to the survivor faster. And once they realize you have Bamboozle, it's already too late. You can get a hit on them and down them, which is super nice. Go to that window, Dwight. I dare you. Nice. That's how you use Bamboozle. This can happen on multiple maps, and in fact, maybe on every map because of the shack, other than the treatment theater in the game, of course. The downfall of this perk is when the survivors know that you have Bamboozle, you can't use it very well anymore. So when you go through a window, you have to be careful of them seeing you going through the window, and then you'll have to kind of maneuver around that. But still, going through windows faster is a huge advantage over the survivors and can make for some pretty fun builds. Next we have Coulrophobia, but it doesn't do a lot as it only decreases the survivor's healing speed, which it only decreases the survivor's healing speed in your terror radius, which it's not too great on paper, but when you use it in game, it could be very good. I used this when I was in a campier game, unfortunately, as the survivors were just kind of like swarming around the hook that the guy was on. But nobody had the need to heal. They couldn't even heal if I could get close to them. And I just ended up killing them all. So in some situations this perk can be pretty good, but I wouldn't use it probably on most of my games as it's very situational and I wouldn't recommend it. Now Pop Goes the Weasel is kind of a more complicated perk. You have to hook a survivor and then you can kick the generator to a certain amount of percent from 15 to I think 25, which is still really good, but it's of its current progression. I've used this perk many times, and basically what it's supposed to do is encourage you not to camp, but instead go to generators, and encourages you to not camp the generator so much and go for survivors that are trying to distract you from the other survivors trying to get the generator as well. I love this perk. I can use this in multiple situations, not only in that one, and it slows the game down, which is really what we need at this point in Dead by Daylight, as everybody is using Hex Ruin or maybe Thanatophobia. It's not as great, but it still does it. So Pop Goes the Weasel, it's definitely a perk worth using, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. So go for that teachable perk when the clown comes out. So thank you guys for watching this review of the clown. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, like the video. If you like my other videos, make sure to subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you all later, unless you see me first. Bye!